Okay guys, this is HTML part 2. It's the 2 challenges that you're going to turn in for HTML part 2 that I'm going to show and explain. So here on Google Classroom we have part 2 that's going to go over HTML lists the video, the challenge which is the wish list, the video for images, and then the challenge a picture perfect trip is what it's called. So you're going to turn in 2 challenges here which I will show you in the video how to do. Just like I did here with the HTML1, here's what we did for that, and that already has a tutorial right here that shows you how to turn those things in. So if I'm going over to Khan Academy, I'm going to log in and use my student account so I can show you what you see. And so here we go. It kind of takes you, it might take you there automatically, or you might have to push something to go to your lessons. And so we've already gone through these, the write a poem, the text emphasis, and learn your text tags. So now we're going to go to the lists and the images. So we'll play this video and we'll move on and do the exercise.
You know what I love? Lists. Have you ever made a to-do or a shopping list? Have you ever read a list on a web page like top 10 most ridiculous dog faces? I bet you have, because the world is full of lists. HTML gives us a few tags to make lists, and we're going to practice them by making a list of reasons why rabbits make great pets. Now, to begin a bulleted list, we must start with the UL tag. What does UL stand for? Well, I bet you can guess what the L stands for. List. The U is a little trickier. It stands for unordered, and it means that the browser won't number the list items. It will just add little bullets. To see what I mean, let's add the first item. They're furry. See the little circle on the side? That's a bullet. Now what do you suppose LI stands for? The L is list, and the I is item. List item. Every time we want to add a new item, we need to add a new LI under the UL. Every UL should have at least one LI under it, because a list with no items is pretty boring. Okay, let's add some more. So great listeners, and eat all your leftover carrots. Okay, this should be a pretty convincing list. I don't know who wouldn't want a rabbit after reading this. Now, I didn't number this list because I don't think that one reason is more important than the other. But there are a lot of times when we do want numbered lists. Like if we wanted to make a top 3 most famous rabbits list. So to start our numbered list, we're going to use an OL instead of a UL. Have you figured out what OL stands for? Here's a hint. Just chop the first 2 letters off of what UL stood for. That's right. It stands for ordered list. And it tells the browser to automatically number each new item. We still use LI for adding new items inside the list, however. So we have Bugs Bunny, we've got Thumper, and of course, can't forget the Easter Bunny. Okay. The neat thing about numbered lists is that the browser takes care of the numbering for us. So if we rearrange items, delete, add new ones, it always updates the numbers correctly. Like, if all of you tell me that you don't know who Thumper is, then first I'll tell you all that you should really go watch Bambi, but then I will begrudgingly move Thumper down to the bottom. And now, poor Thumper is number 3. So now you have everything you need to make lists. Go forth and list everything.
Okay, so now that you've watched the video and your creature here is happy with your progress because you watched the whole thing, then we'll go to the actual challenge. And the challenge says, what do you wish for? In this challenge, you'll make a wish list, a list of activities you want to do or things you want to have. To start off, write the HTML tag that creates a numbered list. So in that video, she went over a bulleted list, which is an unordered list, and then she went over a numbered list, which is an ordered list. So here's our hint for how to start. And if we wanted to create, I'm going to do a heading. Let's do an H1 heading, and I'm going to call it top 3 favorite types of food. And then I want to do my ordered list is what she's asking for, I believe. A numbered list, which is an ordered list. So I'll go down. I'll do my tag for ordered list, like so. And this guy says, okay, you started your list, so move on. And now add items to your wish list. So at least 3, but you can add as many as you wish. So I've started my list, and then in order to have a list, those were the LI tags in between. So I'm going to do LI and put in my first list, which would be 3 favorite types of food. One of my favorites, and I'm just going to do genres, is Italian because I like pasta. And I'm going to do my close tag for that. And then I'm going to do another tag or another list. So my next one would be Mexican food. I love Mexican food, and I'm going to close that tag out with a close tag. And my third one will be I'm going to put Japanese because of sushi, and then I got to close that up with the tag here. And now I've got a top 3 favorite types of food, and it's ordered list instead of unordered list. And my cartoon character is very happy with my progress. So I'll finish the challenge, and I can do the spin-off. So in order to save this, I can take this out, and I want to put my name on there so I know that it's yours. And like so. And I'll be able to actually save this and put it over on the assignment. So I can click the share button. I can copy this link, go back to the assignment, and the one I want actually is number 2, and I'll go there to number 2, and I'm going to add the first link. So Control V to paste, and that's my first exercise. And now I can go back and do the second challenge after watching the video to tell me about pictures. So I'll do my back arrow, and I'm going to move on to images right here.
We've been talking about rabbits this whole time, describing them with paragraphs and lists, but we could just put a picture on our webpage and actually show what a rabbit looks like. Well, to insert a picture in a webpage, we use the IMG tag, which, as you might guess, stands for image. If we just type image, though, we don't see anything. Why not? Well, we didn't tell the browser which image to show. There are millions of images on the internet, and we certainly don't want it to pick a random one because it might be something gross that we don't like. And it also just won't be what we want it to be of. We need to tell it the URL of the image. The URL is what shows up at the top of browsers in the address bar, and that's what it is, an address. It's a way of finding some resource on the web. And it means that we can only insert an image if it's already on the internet somewhere. We can't just insert images that are only on our computer. There are many ways to find images on the internet, but we're making it easier for you here by providing an image picker and a photo collection. To get that to pop up, we need to add an attribute to our image tag. An attribute is an additional bit of information about a tag, and this is the first attribute that we've seen. So to tell the browser the URL, we're going to add an attribute with the name source. We'll add a space and then type src. Now, it stands for source, but it's very important that you spell it src because the browser will ignore it if we misspell it. Now I need to put an equal sign so that I can tell the browser what the attribute value is. And now I'll add a quote, and the editor will autocomplete the end quote. So attribute values are always wrapped in 2 quotes. Okay, so normally this is when we'd start typing our URL, but here on Khan Academy, that's when our image picker will pop up. So we'll just say pick image, and I want a picture of a rabbit, so I'll click the animals tab and select the adorable rabbit and click OK. Do you see how there's a URL inside our quotes now? And do you see how that URL starts with HTTP? That's how we know it's pointing at some image somewhere on the internet. And hey, look, there's a bunny on my webpage. But what if the server hosting the image was failing and the browser couldn't load the image? How will the viewer know what my amazing image was of? They'll see nothing and wonder for the rest of their lives what they missed out on. That's why image tags have another attribute, alt, which we use to tell browsers what the alternate text for an image is. So to add another attribute, we just put a space after the final quote for the last one. Then we type ALT equals quotes. And inside these quotes, the text will be some helpful description of the image, like rabbit with lop ears in barn. That also helps people who see web pages but can't really see them, like the blind. They use an app called a screen reader, which will literally read a web page to them, describing each tag it sees. When it sees an image tag, it'll read off the alt text, since a blind person can't see images. So you should always use alt text so that the whole world can experience your web page. Okay, back to the image we can see. It's a little big. Let's resize it. We can do that with more attributes, with our width or height. So let's say width equals 100. Okay, so now it's 100 pixels wide. That's a little too small. Let's put our cursor inside and use the number scrubber to make it bigger. Okay, that looks a lot better. Now let's try adding height. I'll just say height equals 50. Uh-oh, I squashed my bunny. Poor bunny. See, that's why I should usually only specify either width or height, but not both, because you might use the wrong dimensions and squish your bunnies. So I say just let the browser do the math to decide what the other dimension should be. I'm going to delete height. Now that you can make images, start thinking about combining all the tags you have in your toolbox. Lists with images and paragraphs, top 10 craziest animals. Just don't put too many images on your page because the person checking out your web page will have to load all of them. But you can still have a lot of fun.
Okay, so now that we've watched the HTML images video, we know that we're going to be using this tag image source to find the images. Kind of the sucky part is that we have to use their images, I believe. I think their editor doesn't let us find images from the outside, but we'll get into that when we use a different editor once we get out of here. So using their information, we'll go and do this second challenge that you'll turn in. So the challenge is this. So it says, if you could take the perfect trip, where would you go? What animals would you see? What food would you eat? Add images to this web page after each paragraph tag to share your perfect trip with the world. So here's the hint. You're in between the paragraph tags, which is already there, and you're doing an image source and an alt in case the image doesn't show up for people, in case this was on a web page and a blind person was trying to see what was actually on, not see, but know what was on the web page. So we're going to insert pictures and their alt tags. So paragraph 1, we will go like this, and we will do our image source. So img src equals quotation marks, and that should open up their editor. And we're going to pick a file from their editor. And so the first question was what? Hold on, let me see. I would see scenes like, and if I go to photos, what do they have here? Holiday, photos, wait. Creatures, cute, space, there's backgrounds. It's not much to choose from as far as, let's say grass. So we'll put a scene of grass in there, and then we're going to do our tags. So we will do alt equals quotation marks grass, like so. It says it looks like your opening image tag doesn't end with a, oh, well, I can fix that by actually doing this. Ah, maybe that's it. But that's just simply not true because it's not showing our picture now, it's just showing what's in between the quotes. So I don't think that's it. Okay, so I think we figured out the deal. So we were able to do image source. We put in the code for the grass block. We did the alt equals for the grass field. I'm going to go up here and actually add a break tag so that I can get the grass below like that. So remembering your break tag, we can figure out lines. So let's go here and do another image for animals. So I'm going to go image source equals quotations. This pops up, and I'm going to pick one of their creatures, and let's do, hey, baby Winston, why not? Okay, so I'll do that, and then we go alt equals baby Winston, and then we got to do our close tag. We're good to go. So you do that, and you do the third one for a picture for the third one. And so let's do that. I'm going to do image tag, img src equals quotation marks, and it's food. I don't know that they really had food on here, did they? Let's do cute. Yeah, it's not really, well, octopus is something that you can get on the menu, so let's go with that since they're not really giving you much to work with. And we'll do the alt text octopus and then close tag, and then our guy is really happy. So we've done our code for the 3 pictures. I would see scenes like grass and animals like this and eat food like this. Okay, next step. It says you want to experiment with the width and height attributes, so try adding them to your images. So what you could do with that, going back to our video, we can kind of refresh ourselves by going here, and you can put in after the quotation marks width equals quotation marks. So we'll go over here, go to one of our pictures, width equals quotation, and let's go 300, and it'll make it bigger. And our guy is happy right there, so we'll do next step, and they want us to do the rest of the images. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the same for both of these. And so I'll do this, space, paste, and then he's happy again. Finish my challenge. Spin off, and again we don't need the words spin off, and we're going to put our first name and maybe last initial. You'll save it and share, highlight the whole thing, go to Google Classroom, add your second challenge, Control V to paste. And that's how you turn in the second 2 challenges for the HTML2 coding. So that's it. I'm going to post this to Google Classroom now and show it in class. See you then.